Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking. Sorry about a slightly late start this morning, but had a problem with the software. Anyway, seems to be up and running at the moment, so let's have a look at what's going on news-wise first. And we'll zip over to here and zip into update this quickly. And well, we're on Thursday, so Lagarde's speaking this morning. She's presenting at the testifying at the Committee of Economic and Monetary Affairs. We'll see, there might be something that comes through from that meeting. Actually, I'm not sure if that's already started. If it's 8:30 UK time, or whether it's European time. Anyway, I'll check on that, but that's happening anyway. Aside of that, we've got the weekly unemployment claims. They do not impact too much at all on any other week apart from non-farms. And we've then got, well, it's tomorrow. We've got tomorrow then. Okay, so let's just check that she's not speaking already. No, nothing. Right. Let's go on and look at the markets then. We'll start off looking at euro dollar. Euro yesterday managed in the end to pull up. As I said, I was waiting for the sort of the continuation of a breakdown really on that. It never happened. As you can see on from this view, 4-hourly view for the week so far, it's pretty consolidated. It actually went the opposite way, and well, it's currently back above its weekly pivot. It's ugly at the moment. Yesterday afternoon it did pick up sort of mid-afternoon there, 3 o'clock. We'll see how it comes through today, but it's already hit the R1. It might come back, test the pivot and run back up again if it is in any sort of upward trend. It's hard to see at the moment. It's not well, it's got a minor higher low coming through there. A break of these highs over here certainly do change things. So the early weeks highs, if we break through those, then we've got a more solid confirmed high. But it's still a bit sort of in betweeny. The pound finally stopped me yesterday. Finally, it sat around that 50 all that time, hand railing it, coming back down again for me, but yesterday it popped through. It was the weekly pivot here that just couldn't hold on any further, and it was the when I looked at yesterday, it was the opposite side of the trade I was looking for there. And what would make a long? Well, it made the long. It broke through in the afternoon. There we go. Broke through on a pivot swing there, pushing up. It was not my favourite because I was obviously short at the time, so it stopped me out. But there was an opportunity on the Aussie, which I'll show you, which countered it. But this morning, maybe this hasn't gone up, hit its R1 or anything. We'll see how its reaction to its pivot here. If it's going to start moving up and we're going to start seeing a steady climb, we're sort of seeing this turning pattern. I guess we're seeing it. It's a little bit cleaner than on the euro as it happens. It's just it has already given us the high low. I was talking about the sort of Monday highs there, and it's taken those out already, so it's given us a confirmed higher low. Just maybe a bottoming out pattern. It's early, but it's there. US dollar yen, not really particularly tradable for me at the moment. I don't like the way it's where it's going. I want to wait until it gives a really good short pattern and get short on it, but at the moment it's with the comments coming out from the new Prime Minister, etc., suggesting that they didn't need to increase rates. Well, or maybe prudent not to. We've seen it slow down and soften against the dollar here, dollar pushing up still. This morning, well, if it starts breaking back above the pivot in the shape it is in, maybe a move up towards the R1, if not at least bringing stops up at the double tops there if it gets there. But we'll see how it reacts this morning. at the moment. It's a lot of these currencies just strengthening a bit. This didn't so much. Aussie dollar, my saviour. Yesterday pushing up there. Solid old day really. It's given a bit of it gave a pivot swing on the 4 hours here, but more importantly for me, it just gave a nice little set up there in the afternoon. It triggered off. Thought, oh no, here we go. But it did come good for me, and it did actually happen. I wasn't aiming for the R2, but did go all the way up to the R2. It was one of those good days for the R2 in terms of we hadn't hit the pivot. Probability of hitting the R2 is around about 70% on that basis. Once it's back above its R1, and off it went. So there was a number of things that came together there: the pattern, the trend, and everything all moving up. This trend was already in play, and it's a stronger trend than what we're seeing with the likes of the euro and the pound. Anyway, today we can't trade yesterday, can we? Today it's horrible at the moment. If it was to come back here towards the pivot, maybe get something off the pivot again. Hasn't hit the R1, so it's sort of sitting in no man's land at the moment. A move off the pivot this afternoon, that could be a play. Unlikely to be doing anything with many of these markets in this morning session. Canadian dollar, this is it started something here on the bigger time frame here. We've had this reaction into its air kissing its 50. It looks like now it's actually hit the 50. The moving averages do tend to move. Anyway, it's then put a pivot swing and it's then triggered that, and it's looking soft at the moment. Looking a little bit like it could have a bit more downside. Now this obviously plays the same way as the euro and the pound in terms of this is done the topping pattern instead of the bottom pattern because it's the other way around. There's a scope here. You just don't like trading at this time in the morning on the Canadian dollar. It takes too many false trades. But if it could hold, would be the ideal thing here, and see if we get something this afternoon. The S2's got a good chance of being hit at this stage. But it's too close. The risk reward doesn't fit for me on there at the moment, so it's not the prettiest of markets. Okay, the other market's not really. Euro yen is actually starting to develop, stretch its legs a little bit here now. We're starting to get a bit more of a move. It's working a bit better. So if you're not playing the the euro against the dollar, the safer place is against the weaker yen. And this is maybe, yesterday it sort of went quite early in the morning there, sort of 8 o'clock it started picking up again and pushing through, and looking quite solid up towards its R1 etc. and beyond. It's again this morning it's got this sort of nice pattern reaction into the pivot there. It's just a case of a bit of patience on this. This could push on through, maybe head towards the R1 there. You have got this resistance level which might just slow things off a little bit. We'll just watch this morning. Wouldn't take anything on this before probably 8:30ish anyway, because it's just unreliable. But for the first 15 minutes is certainly the most unreliable with this. I've proven it over time. Statistically it's rubbish. Knocks 20% off your opportunity. Right, other pairs still sitting in this Euro Aussie. Short term it's not looking so pretty, but big term it's looking lovely. It's broken down here quite nicely. I was looking at it. It's just going. The only thing is if the euro does start picking up as well through this session, we might get what we saw yesterday, it picking up again a little bit there. But in the bigger time frames, it's actually on the weekly. I was looking. Here we go. I was looking at the weekly 200. But at the moment, I might start tracking the stop down. But it's a hard one to actually track the stop down too much. I mean, in some respects, we're down into its weekly S1. Perhaps I should be taking the profit. This is in from last week. Anyway, we'll see how it shapes up. But for now, getting into a new trade on it, it's not happening. But sorry, I'm just managing what is actually happening there. So it's I'll give it some time at the moment. As I say, I do like that weekly 200. It just looks very attractive. What I am very aware of though is the steepness of the run down here. When you get trades like this, it's often worth looking at Heikin-Ashi and following it down on here. This is a 4-hourly view of it. Let me just change this to a daily view, and just looking at the Heikin-Ashi on this, and maybe tracking the stop behind. I used to use these Donchian channels quite good on my, but this has been coming off pretty decently. If you had been tracking on those Donchian channels earlier, but obviously I'm in it later. But anyway, moving down pretty decently there. Right, okay. Other currencies not really that interested in. Let's come down to look at the precious metals. My precious. And silver's off 1% today. Just a quick look at this, but still sitting in this longer term trend. Nothing much to be done for me on that. As I say, I've got physical silver. Haven't got a silver position as such. Only the physical silver. Holding at the moment. Not tempted to go down the shop. Gold still holding in there as well. Still got some decent value in gold. So gold and silver both looking okay at this stage. Okay, and then moving on to oil. Oil's been having a bit of a time, but if I can get oil to come up, there we go. But it's just pulling back a little bit. Short-termism, it might be showing some. It's a bit like the currencies here, isn't it? In terms of the euro and the pound on this shorter time frame, it's just been consolidating, not particularly moving particularly well, and very ugly during the daytimes. I haven't been shorting this for ages now. Shorting it, trading it even. But it does look softish with what it's doing here. It's just got to allow wide stops, and my preference is normally to trade it in the afternoon. So you see the movements in the afternoons we often have. Move up at 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock's a trading point. Boom, off it goes. Quite often around 2, strong moves. Anyway, S&Ps. So S&Ps did manage a bit of a surge there yesterday. What do you reckon by the end of the week? All new new all-time highs. If I could only say it. Oh, it's tomorrow, isn't it? The end of the week. We'll see. But it did shoot out again here. Just looking at it from yesterday. Where were we? It did in the afternoon break there, but and it did run between its. So this is another one that in the afternoon here, look, when the market was open, it ran from its R1, hadn't hit the pivot, ran up to its R2. At the moment, consolidating here at the moment. I would wait for this in the afternoon anyway, but it does look erring on that bullish side again. FTSE, new all-time highs, must have been pitched in again. Yep, he's running to new all-time highs. This is just going, maybe gone. But don't like these sort of patterns. Really don't like this pattern. This is reacted to the double top here. Obviously this current bar is only a new bar, but wow, what a whack into there. But that's not finished. It's not closed on that bar yet, but it does look like we've got potential continuation there, but not an entry. It's alright looking at these charts sometimes. They just don't have the entries. They look good, but it's getting into the price at a sensible price. Okay, so the DAX here, a bit uglier compared to the others. It did push up there yesterday. Might do a little turn this today, but not right now. It won't. It's run into its quarterly pivot here again. It seems to be its resistance point. You see it on this 4-hourly chart into the quarterlies. Saw it yesterday. Look in the evening there. Keeps running into that area. This actually looks quite bearish where it's sitting at the moment, but I don't really want to be on the bearish side of this. I'd rather hang in there and see if it does a reversal and take the long side. Went yesterday, whether you'd have got in, I didn't get into a trade on this yesterday. It did go in the afternoon with the others. The S&P would have been better. I didn't get that either. Right, anyway, there we go. I shall leave you there. I wish you a good day's trading. So in summary, there isn't a great deal to go at right now, but there's some things setting. I'll leave you there. Have a good day's trading, and I'll catch you, as I say, tomorrow. Morning order, by the way. Gold and euro approaching a cluster of levels this morning. Yep. They're pulling back at the moment, both the pound and the euro, but see the reactions. The pound's just pulled back to its pivot, so just we need to watch the reaction to this. There we go. It's just pulled back to its. It's just gone through the pivot here on this market. Oh, that's alright. It's a different broker, but anyway, just pulled back a little bit at the moment. Just see the reaction. This is early on the 8 o'clock. See if it reverses and catches. If it doesn't, well, we're not in it. But there's the pivot here. Right, anyway, leave you there. Have a good day's trading.